When the blackout hits, your biggest threat won't come from looters downtown. It'll come from across the street. The same neighbors who smile at you today will turn ruthless tomorrow. Within 72 hours of a nationwide power loss, grocery shelves go bare, gas pumps stop, and police response times stretch past 45 minutes, if they show up at all. The Department of Energy admits the U.S. grid experiences over 500 large-scale outages a year, and most cities have less than 3 days of food and water on hand. That's the tipping point. When the lights stay off, desperation turns civilized people into predators. And the ordinary things in your house, trash bags, batteries, propane, even soap, become priceless. I'm going to show you the top 12 items your neighbors will try to steal first when the grid collapses, and how to protect them before it's too late. 12. Batteries, the silent heartbeat of survival. You probably don't think twice about that drawer full of AA and AAA batteries, but when the grid dies, those little metal cylinders turn into pure energy currency. In a blackout world, every flashlight, radio, and solar lantern depends on them. Here's the reality. Over 80% of American homes rely on battery-powered devices for essential functions, from medical gear to lighting. Once store shelves are cleared out, and they will be within 48 hours of a national outage, your neighbors are going to realize that without batteries, they're not just powerless. They're blind, deaf, and cut off. A single D-cell battery becomes as valuable as a gallon of fuel. And here's what most people never think about. Even expired batteries hold residual charge. Desperate neighbors will raid garages and junk drawers, hunting for any scrap of voltage. Protecting your supply isn't just about hiding them, it's about variety. Stockpile lithium batteries, which last up to 20 years, not just alkaline ones. Store rechargeables in small solar panels to keep them alive indefinitely. Keep them in ammo boxes with silica packs to stop corrosion. And never ever let your neighbors hear the click of a working flashlight after day 2 of darkness. Sound travels further in silence, and one faint beam through a curtain tells the whole block you still have power. Batteries are small, light, and easy to steal, perfect for pocket thieves. Keep them scattered in decoys, some in junk drawers, others sealed in false-bottom toolboxes. In a dead world, the man with power isn't the one with a generator, it's the one with the batteries. 11. Water filters, the invisible wall between life and disease. Most Americans take clean water for granted. Turn on the tap and you get purity on demand. But the second the grid fails, that illusion dies. Pumps stop. Treatment plants go silent. Within 72 hours, your tap will spit out nothing but air and desperation. According to FEMA, the average person needs at least 1 gallon of water per day just to survive. That's 30 gallons per person per month, and most households barely have 3 days' worth. When that runs dry, rivers, lakes, and rain barrels become breeding grounds for E. coli, Giardia, and Cryptosporidium. Parasites that can cripple you in a week, and your neighbors will realize that the only people not puking and hallucinating from dysentery are the ones with filters. Life straws, Berkey systems, Sawyer minis, whatever you've got, it becomes the modern-day Excalibur. During the 2010 Haiti earthquake, contaminated water killed more than cholera itself, spreading faster than aid could arrive. You think your neighbors won't come knocking when they see you still boiling tea or washing your hands? Think again. Protect your filters like you would your food supply. Never leave the packaging visible. Rotate filters quietly and learn to make decoys. Cheap dollar store bottles filled with sand to look like real ones. Remember, once the municipal systems collapse, clean water isn't just a comfort, it's command over life and death. And in the blackout world, control over hydration is control over humanity. 10. Propane tanks, the silent giants of energy independence. Those metal cylinders sitting next to your grill might look ordinary now, but after the blackout, they'll become gold on 4 legs. Propane isn't just for burgers and barbecues, it's heat, cooking, sterilization, and even refrigeration if you know how to use it. During the Texas freeze of 2021, propane demand skyrocketed over 300%, and thousands of homes without it froze solid. The blackout will bring the same chaos, only this time there won't be restocks. Small camping tanks, 20-pounders, even half-empty cylinders will become targets the moment people realize they can't cook or stay warm. Propane burns clean, stores indefinitely, and works without electricity, making it the perfect prepper fuel. But here's the part most folks forget. Propane tanks are traceable by smell. That faint rotten egg odor, mercaptan, carries far in still air. Neighbors desperate to cook will follow it like bloodhounds. Protecting your supply means separating it. Don't keep them all behind your shed like a neon sign for scavengers. Bury some, stash others in camouflaged enclosures, and keep one decoy tank empty in plain sight. And learn to refill small canisters from larger tanks. It's a skill worth more than ammo. During Argentina's 2001 economic collapse, portable gas became one of the top stolen items because it could heat, cook, and power small generators. Your tanks are your lifeline, but also your biggest target. Guard them like you'd guard fire itself, because once your neighbors get cold, they'll come for your heat. 9. Medicine, the quiet war for health. The moment the pharmacies close and the lights go out, a silent panic will start spreading. Every household with a diabetic, asthmatic, or heart patient will realize they're sitting on a ticking clock. According to the CDC, nearly half of all Americans rely on prescription drugs to function daily. Insulin, blood pressure meds, inhalers, antidepressants, when supply chains fail, those medications vanish in days. And it's not just the prescriptions. Painkillers, antibiotics, allergy meds, antiseptics, every pill becomes a treasure. During Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico, hospitals ran out of insulin in less than a week, forcing people to ration or die. That's how fast desperation hits. Your neighbors will raid medicine cabinets before food pantries because hunger hurts, but medical withdrawal kills. Protecting your stash means discretion. Keep your medicines in old vitamin bottles, split between multiple hiding spots, and never mention your stockpile to anyone, even friends. Stock multi-use items, iodine, aspirin, activated charcoal, and antibiotics for fish tanks, the same compounds used in human medicine. And don't underestimate barter value. A single painkiller could buy you a day of peace in a world gone mad. If you have access to first aid, you're not just surviving, you're a doctor in a village of the dying. That's why your medicine cabinet could become the most dangerous thing you own. 8. Cooking fuel. The difference between raw survival and real life. When the grid fails, every electric stove becomes a useless block of metal. That's when cooking fuel transforms from an afterthought to a lifeline. Propane, butane, charcoal, alcohol gel, wood pellets, it doesn't matter what form it takes. If you can heat food and boil water, you have civilization in your hands. But the catch is supply. Charcoal briquettes disappear in under 72 hours during disasters. Butane canisters, if you can find them, sell for 10 times retail within a week. After the 2011 Fukushima disaster, Japan saw a black market explosion for portable fuel that lasted months. Here's what your neighbors won't realize until too late. Cooking isn't optional. Without heat, rice won't soften, beans stay inedible, and bacteria thrive in cold food. That's why people will steal not just the fuel, but the means to burn it. Your stoves, your burners, your matches. To protect your supply, decentralize it. Keep small caches in sealed containers labeled as paint thinner or motor oil. Learn how to build rocket stoves that burn twigs efficiently with almost no smoke. And stock up on denatured alcohol. It stores forever and burns clean. Once people smell cooked food in the air, the illusion of community ends. They'll follow that scent through the dark like wolves. Fuel is more than comfort. It's stealth survival. The ones who can cook will outlast everyone else. 7. Blankets and thermal gear. The forgotten armor against the cold. You can survive 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, but only 3 hours in freezing temperatures without proper insulation. When the blackout hits, HVAC systems fail instantly, and your cozy suburban home becomes a cold tomb. Studies show that hypothermia can begin at indoor temperatures below 60 if you're wet, malnourished, or exhausted. Now imagine that across an entire neighborhood where fuel is gone and winter has no mercy. Your neighbors will shiver under thin sheets, staring at the one house where smoke rises or windows stay fogged. That'll be you, if you're not careful. Wool blankets, thermal sleeping bags, Mylar emergency wraps. These aren't luxuries, they're survival gear. During the 1977 New York blackout, hospitals treated hundreds for hypothermia because heat vanished faster than light. And it's not just comfort. Cold kills judgment, slows reaction time, and destroys morale. Once people see you warm, you're a beacon of envy. Protect your warmth. Store blankets in vacuum bags to save space, and stash extras in vehicles, basements, even under floorboards. Mylar sheets reflect 90% of body heat and weigh almost nothing. Stock them by the dozen. And don't forget clothing. Wool socks, gloves, thermal underwear. Small items that neighbors will beg, borrow, or steal once temperatures drop. The truth is brutal. Warmth is life. Once your neighbors realize they're freezing while you're not, you'll be the first name on their list. Guard your heat like you guard your food, because in a dark winter, survival belongs to the warm. 6. Generators, the growling gold mines of the blackout world. The moment the lights go out, generators will become the holy grail of survival and the biggest bullseye on your back. You might think that shiny gas-powered machine sitting behind your garage means security, but to your neighbors it'll sound like a dinner bell. In the dead silence of a powerless suburb, the low rumble of a generator can carry for half a mile. Every desperate ear will perk up. They'll know exactly what that sound means: fuel, food, and someone doing better than they are. During Hurricane Katrina, generator thefts skyrocketed by over 400% within the first week. And once social order breaks down, it's not just thieves you need to worry about, it's entire families who'll justify stealing your power for their kids. Here's what most people never realize. Generators aren't just valuable for light. They keep insulin from spoiling, phones charging, and radios running. They keep life functioning. That's why you need to hide your hum. Build a soundproof box lined with insulation foam, bury it partially underground if you can, and run extension cords inside through PVC conduit. Never let light leak from your windows. It's a visual beacon. And fuel? That's your second problem. Gasoline goes bad in 6 months, diesel in 12, unless treated with stabilizers. Propane lasts indefinitely, but invites attention. Rotate, label, and store smart. If you're smart, get a solar backup unit, silent, endless, invisible. In a world deafened by silence, noise equals death. Protect your power source like your life depends on it, because it will. 5. Tools, the unspoken power to rebuild, repair, and rule. When everything breaks, the only people who matter are the ones who can fix. That's where tools become worth their weight in gold. Your socket set, wrenches, screwdrivers, and saws may seem boring now, but in a collapse, they're civilization in a toolbox. Here's a truth most don't realize. The average household today owns 60% fewer hand tools than families did just 40 years ago. That means when things fall apart, doors, bikes, stoves, fences, most of your neighbors won't even have a way to tighten a bolt. They'll come to you. Or worse, they'll come for your gear. And it's not just about maintenance. Tools are weapons, currency, and leverage. During Venezuela's collapse, mechanics and handymen became some of the richest survivors, not with cash, but with barter power. A wrench turned into water, a hammer traded for food. Protecting your tools isn't just about hiding them, it's about disguising their value. Keep them dirty, scatter them around, and don't store everything in one shed that screams resource depot. Hide premium gear, impact drills, solar inverters, generators in decoy boxes labeled Christmas lights. Keep basic hand tools where you can grab them fast and learn how to use them. Knowledge of repair turns scrap into survival. Because when society stops, the man who can fix things doesn't just live, he leads. 4. Fuel, the liquid god of the blackout age. Forget gold. Forget crypto. In a world without electricity, fuel is the new currency. Gasoline, diesel, kerosene, even rubbing alcohol. Every drop becomes a ticket to survival. You can't cook without it. You can't move without it. You can't fight the cold without it. During the 1973 oil crisis, Americans waited over 3 hours in line just to fill a 10-gallon tank, and that was during a functioning government. Imagine what happens when there's no system at all. Desperate neighbors will siphon gas from cars, cut fuel lines, even dig up buried tanks. And they'll justify it all, because in collapse logic, whoever controls energy controls life. Most don't realize how fragile supply really is. The U.S. has only about 25 days of fuel reserves at any given time, and once refineries shut down, it's over. That's why your stash needs to be smart. Store gas in metal jerry cans, not plastic ones that degrade. Use PRIG or stable to extend shelf life to 2 years. Rotate regularly. Hide them where nobody expects, inside toolboxes, under tarp piles, or buried beneath gravel and waterproof drums. And don't just hoard, convert. Stock small solar panels, alcohol stoves, and even wood gasifiers. The more options you have, the less predictable you become. Remember, your neighbors won't need to see your fuel, they'll smell it. So mask the odor with motor oil or detergent. When the world runs, dark, fuel is fire, mobility, and dominance. Lose it, and you're stuck in the Stone Age. 3. Radio, the voice of the outside world. Once the internet dies and cell towers go dark, communication reverts back a century. That's when radios, yes, those dusty AM/FM or shortwave units, become priceless. During every major blackout in history, from the 2003 Northeast outage to Puerto Rico's collapse in 2017, the people with radios were the only ones who knew what was happening. Everyone else was blind, isolated, and terrified. Modern Americans are addicted to instant updates. Remove that, and panic becomes viral. A crank or solar-powered radio isn't just information, it's control. You'll know where relief is, which areas are looting, which routes are blocked. That knowledge can mean the difference between life and death. And your neighbors will know it too. They'll see your calm face while they're drowning in confusion and realize you know something they don't. That's when radios become targets. Protect them with silence. Don't broadcast. Don't talk about news. Keep your radios in Faraday bags to protect against EMPs and stock spare parts like wires and batteries. Even small ham radios, once dismissed as nerd toys, become survival gold. During World War II, underground resistance networks relied on tiny transmitters to organize escape routes and food drops. In the blackout, information is power, and the one who holds the frequency rules the chaos. Guard your signal. It's the last voice civilization has left. 2. Water, the invisible war that will define everything. If you think people fight over gas, wait until they get thirsty. A human can't survive more than 72 hours without water, and after day 2, reason breaks down. During the Cape Town drought of 2018, violence erupted before taps even ran dry. In a nationwide blackout, water pumps die instantly. Reservoirs stagnate, and rivers become cesspools of bacteria. Within a week, dehydration will kill more people than hunger ever could. You'll see neighbors melting snow, scooping puddles, and raiding pools. But here's what they won't think about: filtration and storage. They'll drink poison before they die of thirst. Your stored jugs, rain barrels, and purification tablets will be worth more than any weapon. Protect them like a fortress. Don't keep barrels in sight. Camouflage them under tarps, mark them as paint supplies, and rotate water every 6 months. Add a few drops of bleach per gallon to keep it safe long term. And never underestimate the power of rumor. One slip about you having clean water and you'll wake up to a mob. In the end, wars have been fought for rivers, not riches. When the taps go dry, survival becomes hydration, and hydration becomes violence. Keep it hidden. Keep it quiet. Because in a thirsty world, kindness gets you killed. 1. Food, the final frontier of desperation. This is where civilization ends. and survival begins. When the grid fails, the trucks stop. Grocery stores, already operating on 3 days of supply, empty out in hours. Within a week, America's cities become food deserts. By day 10, hunger rewires the human brain. Polite neighbors morph into predators. History shows it clearly. The siege of Leningrad, Venezuela 2016, Syria's Aleppo crisis. Starvation doesn't just kill, it erases morality. When people watch their children cry from hunger, they'll justify anything. Your pantry, your rice, beans, canned tuna becomes a beacon of survival. But here's the truth most preppers forget. It's not just about having food, it's about keeping it secret. Cooking smells can travel half a mile downwind in still air. That scent of stew could draw a dozen desperate families to your door. You need stealth, cold meals, solar cookers, low-smoke setups. Rotate your stock quietly. Never buy bulk from one place. Neighbors notice patterns. Canned foods last decades, but dried beans, flour, and grains need oxygen absorbers in sealed Mylar bags to survive long-term. Diversify. Grow sprouts indoors, can your own meats, dehydrate fruit, and never brag online or off. The moment someone learns you're stocked, you're marked. When food runs out, hunger turns people primal. They'll break, steal, even kill for a single can. In the end, food isn't just fuel, it's civilization's heartbeat. Guard it, ration it, and remember, in the dark age of the blackout, the one with food isn't rich. He's the last king standing.